This video will show how to sort, filter, and do some multiple changes to items in the item dialog. I start by opening up my item dialog, and as usual it will open up from whatever weight group that I've selected in my main window, and then I want to load all items as a starting point into this item dialog, and I do that by giving in the wildcard percentage sign in my filter, my weight group filter field, and you can check out the basics of the item dialog if you don't remember the use of the wildcards and so forth. So now I've got all my items loaded into the item dialog, and I want to do some checking of those items. And so the first thing we're going to look at here is sorting. Sorting is quite easy because you simply do it by clicking on the header of the table view, and every second time you click you will sort the items ascending or descending. So if I click description once, it will sort it ascending. If I click it another time, it will do it descending. So that's how that goes, and it works also the same for the number field. So if I go to, for example, the VCG and click once, I get the lowest VCG, and click again and I get the highest VCG. And just by doing this, it's a very good way of doing some sanity checking of the database to find the extreme values for example, the center of gravities. You can go first to VCG, then to LCG, and then to TCG, and click twice just to see that numbers are in the range that you expect to. So that's an easy way to sort. We also on the menu have two buttons up here, apply sort and remove sort, and if you go to apply sort you will see that it's now caught up with the clicks that we did in the table view, and specifies now the sort order here. You can do this also without clicking on the header first. So if you want to remove the sort, we click this button, says remove sort, and now the initial sorting was removed, and then we can go into apply sort, and we can build up a sort here by saying that okay, first it will sort on description and it's going to sort at ascending, and then for equal description sort on weight and descending, for example, and apply. So now it's sorted like that. And again, you can remove the sort by clicking on the remove sort button in the toolbar here, or you can go to tools, sort, and clear. So that basically is sorting, but now let's take a look at filtering. In the menu we have this button here saying apply filter, and you can also go to tools, filter, and apply, and that will bring up this filter dialog that allows you to define your filters. And if we start out by doing a simple filter here, we can say that okay, I want to have all items where the VCG is larger than, let's say, 30 meters. So then I click on VCG, I click on the larger operator, and I type in 30 as the value, and I click insert, and now I get my filter in this view here, and when I click OK, my filter is applied, and it was only one item that was fitting this filter, and that was my radar and signal mast. If I click the filter button again, I can change the filter. So let's say, for example, everything above 20 meters and you can notice that now I was just typing directly into this field. So once you get the hang of the syntax used for filters, then you can type directly in here instead of going click 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 insert. So the click click insert, that's more for helping you out. Let's see how many items are above 20 meters. Okay, so here we have a lot of items, and maybe I want to restrict the number of items here and do some further filtering. So then I can open up my filter, and then I can say and I can type that in, or I can click this button and. So I can combine, for example, VCG larger than 20 and LCG larger than, let's say, for example, 70 meters. So insert, so now I have VCG larger than 20 and LCG larger than 70, and I click OK, and so that's these items right here that fits that filter. And if I want to, now I can save this filter. I do that by just typing in the name of it in this drop list here. So I can call this filter for upper upper 4 area, for example. Just type in the name and click add, and when I do that, then I will get this filter in my drop list here, so that if I clear the filter, let's clear the filter, you do that on the menu right here saying clear filter, or you can also go to tools, filter, clear to remove any filter. So then the next time if I want to apply that very same filter, I go to my apply filter and I can select it from this drop list, so where I saved it. So now there's nothing here. I select upper 4 area, it brings me my filter, and I click OK, and then this filter is applied. So that's filtering on numbers, but you can of course also filter on descriptions. So let's remove this filter once more and go in and do a text filter. So for example, description, like, to sort on description. If I want to have everything starting with heli, for example, I type heli, and then I can use a wildcard. Just as you can use wildcard for your weight group selection, you can use wildcards also in the text filtering. So insert, and you will see now it says description like heli percentage, and this is written with apostrophes in front and end of the heli. So if I click this one, it will bring my items that starts with heli, so that gives my helicopter deck and my heli deck structure. So that's the basic of the filtering, and this filter dialog you will find many places in ShipWeight. You will find it in the item dialog, in the weight distribution dialog, in the gyradius dialog. Okay, so typically if you've done a filtering, you want to perform an operation on the items that you have filtered out, and for example, you want to set a selection of items to a specific block, and one way to do it is of course to filter out the relevant items and then go and set each of them to a block by finding the block and setting it to B12. But of course this can be tedious if it's many items, and therefore we have a way of doing this in a more automated fashion. And the way we do this is by selecting all the items that we want to perform the operation on, and you can do that by either right clicking and go select all, or if you don't want to select all, you can click in this lines to the left here and hold down your shift key and select the range of key, and they will all get marked. And now the marked items are the items that you will execute this operation on. So now, for example, if you have, like here we've selected these items, and I want to set all of these items to block B12 at once, then I go to Items menu, I select Set Field Values, and I go down and I find my block code. I click OK, and I click B12 and OK. And now if I scroll to the right, I can see that all of these items have now been set to block B12. So I can set them to a predefined value, but I can also type in anything. For example, in my comment field here, again I can select these blocks. I can go to Items, Set Field Values, and now, for example, to select comment field, and then I can type in a comment for all of these. Changed because whatever, and then OK. Let's see, changed because, and OK. And again, everything has been now set to this comment field. There are other ways of doing multiple operation or operation on multiple items at once, and one of course is to select and delete some items. So for example, you can select a bunch of items and then right click and go delete items, and you just get a warning every time you want to delete them. So do you want to delete them? Yes, I do, and then they have been deleted. Another thing that can be done is to change the weight group of some items. So we may select some items and go to Items and say Change Weight Group Codes, and then we can select a new weight group for these items. If we want to move all of these into group H12, we can select H12 and then click OK. And also we can decide whether we want to just move them or if we want to create a copy of them into H12. So you can do either way. And final thing that will be shown in this video is how to do a operation on the numbers for several items at once. And this can be typically to maybe to add, let's say, 2 meters, for example, to the VCG. Let's say we want to move all of these items 2 meters in the vertical central gravity direction. And so we have selected the items here, and we can't just set a static value, because it's of course possible to use this set field value, select the VCG, and then put all of these items to the same VCG. But what we want to do now is to add 2 meters to whatever number is currently in the VCG field. So let's see how we can do that, and let's first just make this fields a little bit less so we can see the VCG fields here. Now we've selected these items, and I then go to Item and I select Execute Operation. And then in this dialog I select which field I want to execute the operation on, and I want to do it on the VCG. And the next thing is, what do I want to do? Do I want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Well, I want to add, so select Add here, which is the default selection. And then what do I want to add? I want to add 2 meters. So I'm setting the value of 2, and when I click OK, it should now add 2 meters to these VCG. So 5.9 should be 7.9, 2.8 should be 4.8, and so forth. Let's see if that works. So OK, and this asks me if I want to recalculate my vertical moment based on this, and probably should have done that, but I'm just going to say no right now. And now you can see that yes, all of these have been moved. 5.9 went to 7.9, 2.8 went to 4.8, and so forth. So these are some examples of how you can do changes to multiple items at once. And that concludes this video session.